Hello everybody, Prowl here, and we're in the next episode of the Bedrock Guide. I don't even know what episode number it is. It's something. Moonstone, pop it up on the screen right now for me, please. And we need to do some incredible things today. And really the most incredible thing we need to actually accomplish today is organizing our storage system. We're gonna have to do some things to kind of get to that point. But today's episode is really gonna be largely about when you do a multi-item sorter system like this, what do I think, maybe you have a different opinion and that's fine. What does Prowl think the best way to store or sort and store items in a type of system like this is? And we kind of very briefly touched on the methodology I use inside of a chest here. We'll go over that a little bit more in this particular episode, but I wanted to break it down into bigger chunks for you guys today. How do we decide what goes in this section and that section and that one and that one and that one? And how much space do we use for each individual thing and what goes where? It's a lot to do when you have a big storage system. And you can apply what we're going to do here today to a non-automatic system if you like, but this is definitely going to be very well suited for a multi-item storage system like this. One thing though that I think we need to tackle is we need a place where we can put item frames to properly show what's in our chests. And I don't think I want those item frames to be on the front of chests because then the front of the chests are really annoying to open. So I think one of the things we need to figure out is what type of block we're going to put in between the chests here. And specifically when I say block, it's going to have to be a stair because a stair block will still allow the chest to open, which will be exactly what we want. And we need to talk a little bit about theming in here as well. You guys know that the lore that we've set up for this particular area is futuristic civilization has made the decision to make this giant storage area for themselves, and they really like nature and they're going to let nature kind of overgrow the area, but within the confines of their futuristic build. So we're combining future and nature, but I think we're going to combine one more thing in this. It's going to kind of open up our block palette a little bit, and that's going to be that when I say futuristic, we use futuristic architecture, but not necessarily futuristic blocks. Futuristic blocks are usually kind of plain. You're talking white concrete and things like that. You're talking like smooth, solid colors. And I think instead what we may do is, while we may steal a little bit from that type of way of doing futuristic builds, this particular futuristic civilization, they're going to also be using materials that they find in this particular area, because while they are futuristic, they also do want to use the supplies available to them rather than just ship everything in from wherever it is that they may be from. So that's going to be one of our guiding principles, and it's going to allow us to use things maybe a little bit outside of a typical futuristic build. I have a couple of basic ideas for this that I think I want to implement first before we start sorting the chests. So let me get a couple supplies for that. Okay, so let's get this thing started. I got some blocks on me here, and yes, I know I said I don't want to have this thing be a sterile white color. And it's not going to be that, but I do like the idea of using white blocks as an accent color just to kind of add in a little bit of that futuristic look and feel. And what I think we're going to do to kind of start things out here, just to get it to where we can do stuff to these that makes sense, is I'm going to put a little slice, a little pillar thing. It's going to kind of just sit. It's going to be a little one wide thing that sits right here on each side of the chests, and then that'll help me frame in whatever it is I'm going to put in the middle and have an idea of what that's going to look like. And then at that point we can start putting in our signs, which I don't think I really have any leather for that, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. But what I want to do is to keep with that futuristic look and feel. I think I want to have this thing be curved, so I think we come out 1, 2, 3. If I come out more than 3, it's going to cause issues over here. Oh, but those, yeah, that might still be fine. I might need to come out 4 and we'll figure out something on that. Let's try it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we're going to start out right here with a block, and then I'm going to put down a temporary block and then another 2 blocks and take that guy out. Put a temporary block here and do 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And temporary block here. We go up 2, And then we end with one right there. Let's knock this guy out. And then we add in some of this to just kind of round the shape off. How does that look? Looks kind of cool. I wonder if it's best to have the stairs be here, or if it's best to make like this block a stair, make this block a stair. I think I like that way better. So I think that looks good. It feels like it sticks out a lot, but maybe that's just because it's by the shulker boxes. Let's try it again. Okay, if we look at that from here, yeah, it sticks out a little far. We're gonna inset it by like a block. Let's see what that looks like. So instead we have something that looks a little bit more like this. I like the sound of that. I think that's cool. And then what if we have those little slices be our dividers on every single one of these? Only one way to tell how it's gonna look. Let's do it on one side. And we're done. And that looks good. See, I think this is the perfect amount of traditional futuristic that the build needs. And outside of this, I don't think, and like just these little flaps on each side, I don't think we would do any more like quartz or any more white anywhere. I think that's it. So that kind of leaves us to the next thing, which is now what else do we use? I feel like we need two things. I feel like we need like kind of like a base block that we would use that would be kind of like earthly is the best way I could put it, right? That would be something like andesite or polished andesite maybe sounds pretty good, right? Because I feel like that could bridge the gap between like downright like just like medieval style builds and futuristic, because it's more of a polished looking, no pun intended, it's a polished looking block. It's a very polished looking block, maybe because it is actually polished, but it's nice and clean. It can fit that futuristic style. But then we need something that bridges that gap between a futuristic build and that more earthy feel. And I think it's come to me. I think I know what I want to get. And luckily I've been collecting a lot of it over time. So we're gonna go grab what I think I have. Yep, that's right, copper, but not this copper. I'm thinking cut copper stairs. We're gonna have to make a copper field somewhere, a big one, so we can oxidize all of this, AFK, and I don't even have 4 stacks of the stuff. That's not anywhere, I don't think that's anywhere near enough. We probably need a few more stacks. I'm gonna scrounge some up, set up a copper field, and we will have our blocks soon enough, and then we can move on to actually setting up the storage. Okay, while we wait for that to oxidize, there's a spider up there because I just slept. While we wait for that to oxidize, we got to take care of another issue that we have with doing everything, which is we need leather, because we need to make a whole lot of item frames. So we're going to grab some wheat here, of which I have tons and tons and tons of, and we are going to go feed some cows for a while, kill some cows for a while, get some leather, and make some item frames. Okay, so now we can actually get started on some of the things we need to do to get things sorted over there. And that's, for me, is actually going to involve getting some things from my current storage system. And odds are you probably have some type of storage going on in your world prior to setting this up. So this part will be pretty relevant to anybody watching. And that's the fact that we need to bring things over to the system and start getting them sorted. Now, you could do that a couple of different ways. You could go in chest by chest, and it looks like I already pulled the stuff out of there, and like pull the things out and then like try to like resort them into the spots where they're going to go. But I actually like to do this a little bit differently. I like to grab a couple of stacks of more or less like everything by like a certain category, and then I can break these down into the items that are going to go into the chest that it's associated with. So that means a couple stacks of spruce logs, a couple stacks of oak logs, etc. We're going to do that with all of these. I'm also going to do that with all of the different types of stones as well, whether it be cobblestone, stone, or deep slate, or andesite, like all of these different things. Go ahead and just grab like a couple stacks of every source block, so that way we can then take it into a crafting table or a stone cutters and chop it all down to its little parts to then sort into the chests. Okay, I have a good start on a lot of items. We have all of our item frames, and most of this is oxidized to the point where we can go up and start collecting it. The rest of the oxidation we'll just let happen while it's down there in the hole and set up, but I really want to get started, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. See if I can get a good angle on this. There we go. Okay, we're back, and a little tip for you guys, if you're going to be using copper, if you're going to go down to the cut copper variety of copper, so you're taking the like full copper blocks and you're going to make it into cut copper, make sure you do not do it on the crafting table, because when you do it on the crafting table, you can see here, if I just have 4 oxidized copper, it gives me 4 oxidized cut copper. This is a huge waste. Do not do it that way. Instead, make sure you use your stone cutter, because it not only cuts stone apparently, but it also cuts metal. So it's a metal stone cutter. When you put 1 oxidized copper on this, you get 4 oxidized cut copper. So it is way more efficient. So that's going to be our first step, is we are going to cut it into oxidized copper first. There we go. Now let's go ahead and cut these into stairs. And let's see what we could do to get these in place. Oh man, I was not thinking doing this area right here is actually not going to be very easy. Okay, I can't get in here. Oh, I can kind of squeeze in between the hoppers. Okay, this may work. Okay, good. Looks like we could just barely squeeze it out. So we're going to do this between all of these. And then also I'm going to do the same thing between all of these, and this will allow us to get our item frames in. This part will be maybe a little bit easier. I haven't decided yet if I want to do just the front like that, or if I want to do front and back. I think for material sake for now, we'll just do front. The only reason I don't like front and back is sometimes you can look up and kind of see in between the cracks, and having 2 of them back to back does kind of get rid of that look and just completes everything a little bit better. But also you can see now we can open our chest, which is awesome. So let me go ahead and get one section kind of set up here so we can kind of go over it, and then I will take things from there to do the rest. So I got in a decorating mood, and I did not a ton, but a decent amount. And I think it's looking pretty good. I think this is the look that we're going to go with. I'm picturing some andesite paths. I'm picturing a lot of dirt and maybe some podzol and some grass floors down here. And it's going to look so good. I can't wait till we get that far. But for now, I think the next thing that we want to do when it comes to organizing our storage system is I think we want to label our categories. This isn't going to be a permanent label. This is just going to be for me to kind of keep track of what I want to put where. Obviously, this area right here is for shulker boxes, and we shall mark it as such. I'm thinking this first area right here is going to be for ores and valuables. Ooh, or maybe ores and mob drops. There's so many different things. Like we need one for mob drops and for crops as well. There's not really that many different ores and valuables. Let's do this. Let's do ores and mob drops. I know what to do. Let's do this one as plants and nature blocks. Like what I mean by that is like maybe we'll put dirt and those types of things over here, sand, gravel. I think those can fit in good over here with the nature blocks, maybe even leaves and stuff too. Although, man, I feel like we're gonna need a whole section just for that. I can imagine like leaves and different plants, and no, I don't think that's gonna work. Moss, we're gonna need a pretty big area for that. The different leaf types, we'll probably end up putting that somewhere down here. Maybe we'll do this. We'll do ores and redstone. That should be good for that area. And then we'll do mob drops and crops. So all of our crops, our crop seeds, our mob drops, those all go there. That's good. I like that. I think this should be where we like really start putting in our like building blocks. So we'll go wood blocks. Let's think. Because when we do this, I'm probably going to do like a row of wood block types and then a row of the blocks that go with them. And there's 4, 8, I think there's 8 different, maybe 9 different wood types when you add bamboo in. So I'm going to have half of an area available over here. So how about this? Everything that goes with wood blocks, leaves, saplings. No, we'll just, saplings will probably go in the one. So we'll just say wood blocks and leaves. And then if we have like some empty chests over here, that's fine. All stone variants. Okay. Yeah, we'll say all stone variants here. I guess we'll include like deep slate and such with that. Then what would be over here? Nether / end, but that's not a big category, is it? Especially when Crimson Wood's going to be over there. There's a lot of different blocks in a nether though. Sure. If we need to add something else to this category later, we can. We're going to say nether not nether, nether plus end blocks. All right, we have one more side to go. I think this is where we will put decorative nature blocks. Like I'm thinking things like moss and drip leaves and flowers and like that sort of thing can go here. You know what? No. Let's do this. Nope. This section will be colorful blocks. So concrete powders, terracottas, like that kind of thing. Then this area will be decorative blocks, nature plus detailing. So I'm thinking like workstations and chains and moss carpets and all of those different things will go in here. And then we will leave this as a overflow for now. So all of our overflow will have go here, and maybe we'll have it for now. Overflow will just simply stop in these bottom chests here, and then we'll decide what we want to do with that later. Okay, now it's time for the fun or not so fun part, depending on how you like to organize. So first of all, the shulkers, I'm going to leave them for now. I'm going to save the shulker setup for a shulker episode where we're going to go over how to set up our ender chest, like what types of things that you should get like different shulker boxes set up for, and then we're going to incorporate that into this wall, and then we'll have some extra slots that we can kind of flex to be whatever we maybe like often use, I guess. But for now though, let me find woods. Here we go. I think I'm gonna do these one at a time, and we probably should bring our crafting table over. We're gonna start out with both of them, right? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna craft one stack here into all planks, and then we're gonna make pretty much every type of block that we can make from planks. We don't need a lot of them. We just need a little bit to reserve some slots. So we'll make 8 stairs. We shall make some doors, a few trap doors for slots, some slabs for some slots. We need to make some fences and some fence gates. We should not need a lot of those, so I think that should be fine. I don't think we need to put boats in there. Buttons will be good. Pressure plates, those will be fine. Signs, these will be good to have there too. We also probably want to have a slot for the 3-sided block and for the stripped variant of both regular spruce and I say 3-sided, the like all bark block. So we'll strip those. And then now that I think we have everything, and if we don't, it's fine. Like we could always like fill in, right? So let's say now that means we are going to, let's label this. Oh, you know what we could do too? I want an anvil. The reason I want an anvil is because we can actually rename one of these blocks. The name doesn't show up on an item frame if you leave the default name, but I could change this to spruce logs. And then I can change this to spruce variants. We'll do that for now. If somebody has a better name, you can let me know down in the comments. So let's go over here. So now you see when I look up that says spruce logs. It's kind of hard to see from this one, but all the other ones will be rather easy. And then this one will say spruce variants on it. So now if we come over and maybe there's one, I don't really know what it is. I can just look directly at it and it'll tell me without me having to open a chest. And now what we could do is we could take all of these out for the spruce logs one and just fill all the slots. Now spruce logs will always fill into here. And then we can go to the spruce variant one and we can fill this in however we please. I think we'll try this. Probably want one more there. And then maybe we just have like a row like this. Trapdoors I use a lot, so we'll probably have a lot of those. That. Signs don't stack very high. This will probably be good here. This here, and this here. And then since I don't really know what I want to fill in the rest, I could make it pretty and like even this out, but I don't have to. What I can do is just have some flex spots to where if I get too much of something, I can pretty easily like go through and reorganize. So we're going to do that for all of the woods. But let's move to the stones next so we can do that on camera together. So I'm going to grab stone, cobblestone, stone brick, smooth stone, andesite, granite, diorite. We'll do the other ones here in a little bit. And the best thing to do here is take it over to the stone cutter, throw in one. So obviously this is everything that we can make from stone, but we're going to have a chest that is probably all stone, and in a chest that is just the stone variation of blocks, which is these 2, I guess. That feels a little wasteful, doesn't it? Maybe the stone variant block will use smooth stone in that too, because that doesn't probably need its own chest. So what we'll do is we will, let's say, make a quarter stack of this. Let's throw this back in there. Let's make, that should be fine. And then let's throw this in here and that should be fine. And then now we shall name tag a single piece of stone. We'll just name this one stone blocks. And then we shall use maybe a stair. We'll name this one stone plus smooth stone variants. And of course, what did I do? I put this stuff in the ores and redstone area. I'm about to pop those out. We'll do that in a second. I wonder how many of you guys caught that before I did. Probably all of you. So we'll come over here. Stone, I think, definitely goes best up top. So we shall put the stone up here, stone blocks. And we shall put the stone variants one right here. Fill this guy in, go over to this and figure out how we want to fill this in. Maybe something like this and this and this. And then we'll have a decent bulk storage for this. And now we could just shift click the rest of that in there and boom, stone is now done. So what I'll do is I'll do like, that'll be stone. This will be cobblestone. This will be stone brick. I don't know what to make that. This like top one up here will be granite, diorite, andesite, and we'll just kind of work through all the different stone types on the all the way down and fill in this whole area. Then when we get over here, we'll do the same thing with our nether and end blocks that we do have available. Over here is going to take a little bit of time. I may at some point go through and collect all the dyes and all the colors of everything. Maybe we'll do like a dye flower farm episode. That could be kind of fun. And then we'll fill this area in. So this might end up being a lot of placeholders initially, and it won't be fully complete today, but we do have some things for sure we could put in there. Decorative blocks. We do have some of this, but this is definitely fill in as you need and as you come up with things type of an area. And then of course over here, we could pull over a lot of our stuff from our farms that we have that'll fit in to this area pretty nice. I don't need to fill this area with those items, although I definitely could bring the shulker boxes of those items over and keep them stored here. And I probably will for the things I need and want a lot of, but I definitely don't want to just leave them at the farms because then I always have to fly out to the farms to get something that I may need kind of quickly. So I think now I'm at a point where I want to do a lot of work. So I am going to probably hop on a live stream. Again, make sure you follow me, twitch.tv/proud8413, or catch me live here on YouTube. And when I get back, we should have most of these areas filled in. I may do a little bit more building as well. And then I'll kind of show you guys some final decisions that I made while working with the stream. Okay, it has been quite the long journey. I think all of this that I've done so far, it's not 100% done, but it's getting there. I think all this took longer than actually building the thing. Actually, I know for a fact that it has, but we actually have a pretty good setup now that I feel pretty good about. And we're going to end up with a lot of items in the overflow at the end of actually unloading everything that I'll go through and slowly make room for. But this is what we got. We kind of have our like blocks and valuable section. I got things like diamond blocks, diamonds. I got iron blocks over here, and then separation of like iron based like things. So I like that and the way that that section's organized. We have redstone over here too. I did it by signal type. I don't know if anybody has a better way of doing this, but this is the way that made sense to me. Things give a signal output like repeaters and comparators and observers and redstone torches, buttons. I'll put some levers right here. That's a trap chest. That kind of made sense to me to put together because I don't need like a chest per redstone component, honestly. So I think that's fine. This would be like things to take an input to work. So a piston, a dropper, dispensers would go in here, target blocks, redstone lamps, that sort of thing. These are like item inputs. So chests and hoppers there, rails go in there, etc. Then we have like mob drops. There's maybe room for another category here for like passive mob drops, but we have like the main ones that we need like one item type per chest. Then we have ones that kind of like split up into like different categories. And I try to like be descriptive in how I organize things. So like this is overworld miscellaneous items will go in here. Then we'll have like aquatic items go in here. Cause again, I'm not going to have a whole chest full of nautilus shells, right? So that can kind of mix up that way. Then we have all of the crop stuff. That's pretty self-explanatory, I think. Then you have all of the wood-based blocks, which are over here. And then it gets more into like the earthy blocks, you know, your dirt and your grass, and we have ice and that sort of thing there. We have our stone variants. I showed you guys how I set those up before. So we have all of those over here. I also added in things like packed mud. We got quartz over here. And then I didn't name tag this one yet, but this one will be like all of the different copper variants. And I have a lot of room to grow this section as we maybe find more blocks or get more of like a particular type of block that we want to store more of up here. Then the nether slash end section is like kind of bare, but that's fine. Maybe we would even add like skulk blocks over here. I haven't done anything with them, so they could kind of fit into this section too, I do believe, but same general premise there. This was a good one that I like the way that it turned out, is the colorful blocks section, or the color section. So you have like all of the different types of terracotta here. You have all the different types of glass here, all the different types of concrete here, and all the different types of wool right here. And I've put them in pairs. This is white and light gray, gray and black, light blue and blue, etc., etc. And then you can kind of see how I'm going to end up filling it up. I don't have like all of a lot of these, so a lot of it's just like placeholder blocks for now, but at least as I get those things, as I use them, make them, and I'll probably over make them when I do need them. That way I can start to fill in the chests here. I have a spot reserved for them. And then I'm thinking we're going to make a dye farm sometime here in the future too. And at that point, we'll put all the dyes in this section right here, I think would be good. And that would kind of complete our colored section. Then this is supposed to be the decorative block section. I've moved nothing over here yet. I don't have a lot of decorative blocks. Decorative blocks are some things like profession blocks and chains and lighting and all of those different types of things. So we'll eventually work those things in. I don't have a ton of them. So everything that I don't have a spot for will come in over here to the overflow. That way, once we start loading everything in, everything that has a spot will go in the spot. Everything that doesn't ends up here in overflow. And then everything that ends up here in overflow, I can just go through it and then start to piecemeal it through as we go, right? I'll come in here and I'll need to get something, whatever it is. And then I'll then make a spot for that something somewhere. And we'll eventually go through and empty the whole overflow out, or most of it out, and take everything and put it in its proper location. Finally, as far as item inputs goes, I don't think we're going to do any item input into the system today. I kind of want to save it for all one big showing where we like fill a couple double chests full of shulker boxes of a whole bunch of stuff. We let it flow. So for now, this hopper line is going to stay here. And in the next episode, we're going to run that hopper line over here, make ourselves a shulker box unloader, and then stuff that thing to the brim and AFK here for probably a couple hours and let the whole thing unload in here. I also have some building things I want to do too. So you guys are going to see this episode probably after this happens, but make sure you catch my live streams because I have some interesting thoughts for what I want to do with all of these corners. And those interesting thoughts have to do with like carving a circle out inside of it, and then putting some naturey things in there, and maybe even some farms. I was thinking of our flower farm, for example, could go inside of one of these corners, and maybe some other farms too. I don't know. We'll have to think of what those may be. Things that kind of fit what we're doing here. But I think a little bit more building here is going to occur over the next several days and the next several episodes. So make sure you're tuning in for those. Some I'll do inside the episodes. Some I will do on the live streams. Let me know, what kind of ways do you differ than me in terms of how you organize things with your multi-item sorter systems down in the comments below? What agreements and disagreements do you have with me and how I organize things? And are you going to end up building, or have you already started building this mega multi-item storage system? Because even though this part I don't really care for it too much, once it's done, it is magnificent and I am loving it. I thank you guys for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed it, there's a like button down below. Please give it a click. Consider leaving a super thanks. Consider becoming a channel member. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.